hundreds of thousands of people do Wing Chun. But at the end of the day, the difference between one person and another would come down to the quality of the coaching that they receive, which is why one school can produce certain quality of students over another. And so what I'm going to try to do is try to help you with that and give you some ideas that when you're training with each other, you can play with and start to experiment. So no need to talk about the general rolling like that. When you're rolling in this position here, the first thing you've got to do is feel. So you give your pressure into people. You won't get in a fight and it'll be gentle. It's going to be so vicious. It's going to be so aggressive. People are going to want to fight you, which means that when you try to do something, they're going to resist and they're going to use power. So doing Chi Sao too softly doesn't prepare you for when you really need it. So when you do this, even here, it's not overly powerful, but there can't be no power. So you've got to put pressure into each other. Don't try to just roll from side to side, okay? Don't do this here. So when I touch hands, the first thing they'll feel is he always feels like his stance is compromised. And that comes down to the first levels of your training. When you check and you want to hit your wall bag, you have to sit in your stance, otherwise you'll get knocked back. If you're doing single Chi Sao and somebody comes forward into your bong, you do your bong, you time your bong to put the pressure back and upset their stance. If you upset a person's balance, as said many times, the person's balance is compromised, the brain has to recover balance, and that's when you start to launch your attacks. It is simple, but it works because it's simple. So we're doing our Chi Sao like so. And once you get the idea of pulling and pushing and using these ideas to control the distance, to make the person bounce, to use it to your advantage, to use your hands, to find these kinds of movements like Guai Jian. I'm doing a double up on the inside to secure my position. My elbow's driving into his chest, and then I'm going to strike across my body because I don't want to face him. If this hand becomes alive, I don't want to be hit easily. If I'm standing and I'm punching across my body, you come out, yeah, come out, look, it's still harder for him to hit me. So you have to understand your basics. You can't pose and be pretty. That's for the movies. When you need to do this, people want to punch your head in and they really want to mean it. So in this position here, when I'm rolling, I'm going to find out, can he stick? And as I mentioned to you last time, how do I break? How do I learn to break? So if he's trying to stick with my hand, how do I learn to break? Can you feel this? And Adrian, I mean, you can tell them, have you done Chi Sao for how many years do you think?
A long while.
A long while.
Yeah.
More than 10 years?
Yeah.
A lot more than 10 years. Okay, so he's been doing Wing Chun for a long time. And I've seen Adrian with many, many students, and he is good at Chi Sao. When I'm teaching... that was nervous. But what we're doing here is he's going to try to stick with my hands, and I'm going to show you, based on what I did last time about how you break, to see if you can still handle that. So as I'm rolling here, can you feel? Here, okay, here. Do you feel this? So this is what I was talking about. Look, I'm waiting for these moments. Look, you feel? Here, and it's not just because I'm going fast. I'll show you. Look. Ready? Here. Can you agree? And I'm now not going fast. You can stick. So you can stick. I generally use your 20 years of experience sticking. Can you feel? Does that make sense? Look, just learn how to adapt. Change these techniques. Can you feel? Here's a bit of a coincidence. We were talking about the movement from the wooden dummy earlier. About this technique here that comes up, does the Mangang Sao. 99% of the time it's demonstrated here. And then you punch people. I'll show it to the camera here, and you punch people. The truth is, it's a Chi Sao based movement. Look, can you feel? So it's a Chi Sao based movement. You're going to go like that. You're going to be controlling the hand, and then you'll be able to punch. You cannot do this on the outside. Punch me in the face. I'll do the other side. He's going to punch you back in the face. Stick, and then push, and then hit. Push. Make him change. So when you're doing this, push. Make him change. Make him panic on that hand. I'll do it slowly now. It won't work as easy because it's not real timing. Push, come off to hit him. Once he's struggling to block that, then his attention goes on one hand. So you go through, drop down. That seems like your basic park. So if you're just trying to do stuff like this, and stuff like this, they're very much relying on you knowing the frame of Chisao and trying to beat the frame of Chisao. What I'm doing, and I know it doesn't look like it, what I'm doing is, inverted commas, feeling what's happening and not expecting it to always be like this. I'll give you an example. Many, many, many years ago, I met some Wing Chun masters, and I was relatively new to Wing Chun, and I touched hands with them, and every time you touch people, the only move they want to do is that fast park sao there. So when I'm moving, I don't generally rely on that movement because it's a bit of a trick. He can do that equally well to me. Can you see? Does that make sense? So when we're rolling, what I want to do is, what would happen if I push? If I'm in a struggling situation, he comes in and I push, can you feel this? Now as he comes off, because he doesn't want to be stuck, that's when I hit up. And now logically, this is nothing like that movement, but that park sao is the same idea, can you see? But it's done in a more realistic manner where the hands aren't so easily predictable. Does that make sense? So I'll push this hand, can you feel this? Then when you try to come around, and if you don't come around, I'll hit you anyway. So it really makes sense. I'm going to hit you. That's the whole point. I'm going to push you and hit you, so we need to get under this camera so people can see it. So I'm going to push you and hit you, irrespective. But if you manage to stick with me, no, nobody's going to manage to stick. If I go like that, and you manage to stick with me, then I will have that hand. Can you see? The other thing I'll try to do is train my single Chisao changing. So my basic punching. Can I punch the guy? Can I can you feel this? So now I'm just punching, 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 and punching him. So all the time, just hitting, 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 hitting. That's a side punch, obviously. Come across. There you go. There's the same sort of idea. Very simple movements.